Hello there, everybody.
Hi, I'm on time.
Welcome to another edition of Psychic Cat Chit Corner. So I did a boo-boo, ladies and gentlemen. I actually had the show scheduled for tomorrow, thanks to Standing Stones. Hello, Aussie Sue. I was getting ready to go live. I had to hit a few buttons. So I threw out some links out there, everybody, and thank you for all the donations and everything and everything. That really helps. That goes a long ways, and that's actually helped me put out more content and more videos. So and hey, and I got a message, and even though it was $1.50, ladies and gentlemen, it still helps. Thank you. Don't worry about it. Hey, it is what it is. I love it. But what's up for you guys? I wouldn't be here. Look, they're saying hello to you, Michelle.
I know.
So yes, hello, Chris. Chris found some freaky stuff on one of my live shows. A face and oh man, it's remember that show with FDL? Have you all seen that?
Yeah, I have.
They caught a woman's voice.
Yeah.
Now
freaky.
they caught. Remember the girl that Ryan saw, the girl with black hair on the floor with wet hair with black stuff. She was in the curtain. She was coming out. Yes, and during the I was so caught up with the handprint, I didn't even see nothing else. I was just like,
yeah, it was freaky. Like it happened so fast. But you could see, like, when they were sitting in this house, Michelle, they had a downstairs like a cellar, and upstairs they had another, like it was like a 3-story place, and it had heaps of activity from like miners and deaths and suicides and all sorts of terrible stuff. And you could see one of the guys. You could actually see the attachment hit him at the time. Did you see that, Gris? His eyes went red, and you could see the attachment hit him straight off. And then, like, no one really realized what was going on. And then a bit later on,
they played with fire, and they got burnt. They brought her home. They actually brought. Hey, Roger, everybody, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
they brought her home, and he was like, "Yeah," over in the UK. And what was weird is that he asked the group, Michael and Ryan, should they read from the Book of Solomon? And they were talking about it, and all the cat balls lit up, and none of the balls lit up the whole night. And they were like, "Whoa!" and they kept getting these numbers, and they didn't know what these numbers kept. They kept getting them on the spirit box. They kept getting them on the ghost talker, and then Googled them, and they were angel numbers. And they were saying, and it said like run, take cover, and something else.
You
And I
should have
can't
seen
remember.
it. It was
Can you show us,
out.
or is it waiting until the next show? No, I'll actually play the audio of the girl that Yolanda caught. Let me bring up my Facebook. The EVP during the show, and she had her ear. I was so in shock over the handprint, I didn't catch the girl coming through the curtain. And everybody still send me the evidence tonight, and I'm waking up Michael, because right now it's like 5 hours, so it's like 1 or 2 a.m. over there in UK. Ryan actually was going to quit the group. He was done with ghost hunting. That's how shook up he was, and it took him a couple of days to actually recover. So I'm bringing up the audio now, and I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to share my screen, and I want y'all to hear this. And this is during our live show, because I didn't think we were going to actually have a live show. And I just sent this to Chris Hensley tonight, because he was like, because he put it on his headphones and listened to it. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make sure I hit the right. Okay, here we go. All right.
Where's all your protection?
All right. Now, if you got your phone, turn up the volume on your phone, okay? Because I'm going to replay it 5 or 6 times where you hear it. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Just it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, is it? It's not a good. It's not a good idea, is it? It's not a good idea. Is
Can you hear it?
Just in case it jumps up in front of you and tries to grab you on.
It's not. It's not a good idea, is it?
So right there it is.
In front of you and tries to grab you on.
It's not a good idea, is it?
So Yolanda caught that. So during our interview, during our show.
Wow, that's
and I can't remember if that was Chris. Was that before or after the handprint? Do you remember, Chris? Because he went back and watched it. Oh, it just gives me the coat chills, because I didn't hear it. Usually I catch all that, because I've got meters, soundbar meters in my studio above me and next to my computer. So
it's just like hello, fresh meat.
Yes.
Yes.
And we think it's the girl that he saw on the floor.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for my selenite.
It was okay. Chris says it was before the handprint.
Yeah.
So yes, and nanoboss, yes.
But the hand, like you could see the full hand on the curtain.
Yes.
And first, the curtain moved for a second, and then you could see the full hand on the curtain. Yeah,
and
exactly.
He says the handprint was around 16 minutes. Okay, good. Yeah. So, but Yolanda caught that. That was crazy. That was crazy. And I think it was a week. Did you just say hello?
No.
10. Okay. Now I could have swore I just heard hello. Chris, go back and check 10. Michelle, are you punking me out?
I was drinking a cup of tea. I'm innocent, minding my own business, trying to keep my mouth shut.
All right, Chris Hensley, go back and check my audio at 10:10 and see if you just heard another hello. If you heard another hello, then it's in my studio and I'm freaking out. And I'm throwing holy water everywhere.
That sounded like it.
Did you hear it?
Yes.
You did hear it?
I thought I heard it, but I thought it was someone else.
Chris, go back and check it. Go back and check it. You went back. Oh, Chris went back. But you did
Yeah, but
hear
you still
something,
be-
Cat.
Don't be
Yeah, I
scared.
thought
though.
I heard hello, but I thought it was someone else, like like a.
I thought it
live
was
person.
Michelle.
I
Like,
haven't. No,
getting
I
in
didn't
a-
speak. I didn't speak.
Michelle
maybe it
was
was
having
me.
tea.
It might have been me sipping my tea, but it shouldn't have been that loud.
Okay, all right. I'll buy that right now. I'll buy that. So we'll debunk that. Chris went back and checked it. Okay, go ahead and laugh.
It's,
Oh, I thought that was somebody laughing.
No, that's the dog barking. Stop! You're freaking out. Cut that out. Cut that out.
I was
Got
like,
us all-
where's my
my
holy
legs
water?
are all. My
I'm gonna-
legs are all
I'm-
goosey.
I'm gonna send you my clearing prayer. You just don't even have to worry about it.
Boy, so
Yeah.
that's a child laughing. Now I'm really getting paranoid.
Yeah, now the dogs are
yeah,
into
that
it.
was a dog barking. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
See, now
that's a
I got
dog
freaked
barking.
out there for a minute because I really thought I heard somebody. Maybe that was Michelle sipping on her tea, like slurping it.
I was probably me slurping tea. I'm just gonna go with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But,
go with that too. That sounds like a good
yeah.
winner.
But pareidolia is a
So-
big thing in paranormal.
Rebecca said you did make a noise. There we go.
There you go, piggy wiggy.
Okay. Makes me feel like yeah. Hey, I got my headphones maxed out tonight, so I'm hearing like everything like extra. Let me back them down a little bit. Okay, there we go. So hello, Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Thomas.
and then on another show, they got me making a face. You know, Nana Boss and Barb and all them, Rebecca and Yolanda, they got me in a med face expression and posted all over Facebook. Now they want to make a meme out of it. So that's all right. I told Nana Boss, she's coming back on the show. So yes. So thank you, Chris. Going back and validating that. My heart was really beating there for a minute. Man, I was
Same.
getting nervous. So, but they didn't know. But the mine exploded, and 2 men died. But women were not allowed to go down in this mine, so they didn't know if the men took this woman down there because the mine filled up with water. So earlier, hey Barb, just talking about you. Welcome to the show, Barb. And Barb can contest to this too. She watched the show with FDL. And the girl had wet black hair, and Nikki, Michael's wife, touched Ryan's arm sometime during the investigation. Michael and Ryan was like, why is your hand wet? She's like, my hand's not, I can't talk like them. They're from the UK. And his arm was wet from where she touched him. And she's like, look, my hand's dry. She said, I didn't use the toilet. Or pull the chain or something, however they use, whatever they say when they use the commode over there. And but they were so scared they couldn't light the lighter to light the candles because the house had no electricity. And can you imagine being that freaked out and him screaming, we're all gonna die, and all this other stuff, and them trying to light the candles and they couldn't. And him scream. I mean, I can imagine they were all screaming too, because nobody knew what was going on. Then during the show, seeing that handprint, and now the other things that Barb, Chris, and Nana Boss, and whoever else Yolanda's catching, after the show, it's like, whoa. And I was like, and we have shows about attachments, do we or do we not?
Mm-hmm.
So even Chris says that's some creepy sheesh. But yeah,
The thing that freaked me out the most was seeing the attachment hit him. Like there was a second there where you could see his eyes lit up; they were red, and then all of a sudden his eyes went black, and they stayed black for the rest of the show. And then when they freaked out, you could see what was going on. Like you could see it almost being passed around. It was not good. Not good at
She
all.
just needs to be crossed over. She just needs to be crossed over.
Well, I gave them cleansing prayers a couple of weeks prior to the show, so she was going to do some sage and other stuff. But you know, I tell people, you know, anytime that I give them prayers for cleansing of homes or whatnot, you know,
Yeah.
everybody does their own different techniques and ways, and there's nothing wrong with
Yes.
that. But I tell them, you know, it just be prepared. Sometimes it doesn't work the first time, and
No, that's
sometimes
right.
it takes multiple times. So,
Yeah.
you know, depends on the attachments.
Yeah,
It's
it does take.
actually on their YouTube channel, Rebecca, their video that they made.
Yeah.
It's very weird. So yeah,
It was
Yeah,
freaky. And
Well,
like
she's
that was
also-
early on in the piece when his eyes went red and that they hadn't really even started. You know, he hadn't started stirring up the action with the book or anything like that. And but he was already gone.
but see,
can you imagine
they
being
didn't
stuck?
read the
Can you imagine
book,
if you were?
but he read the book in his head.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't talk about the book on the air,
Yeah.
but they did say the passages they were going to read.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah, it was on their live show. The passage they were going to read was to let down the veil to whoever was on the other side had an opportunity to come forward. And it was like this girl, they said, ladies and gentlemen, the best way to describe what this girl looked like was the movie The Ring. That's what she looked like, with the black, like smoke coming out of her mouth. And it just, yes. So, so
Not
yes.
good.
No.
And then yeah, no, he only needed it in his head, Rebecca. Like that was enough because they'd been playing around with it beforehand, so it was already in the head.
Yeah, Nana Boss, an attachment brought by a ritual needs to be lifted on a specific manner. And I believe that you're absolutely correct on that. Yes.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. And it was really good that Dr.
Carol, Dennis Carroll.
He was brilliant. He's brilliant, especially with like attachments and all of that sort of stuff. It's his, you know, his forte. He's really good at it. And he spoke to Mick that night, and he was pretty blown out too. Like that's his specialty, and he could see what was going on, and he gave really good advice. But like, you need to know what you're doing when you're mucking around with that sort of stuff. Like it's dangerous, you know. Like if you've got kids and that or animals in the house and you bring it home, you don't. It's not just the house and themselves. They've got to clean the kids, the dogs, you know, all of it. Because from what I saw, they've got a major issue going on that they need fixing fast. You know?
Yeah, evidently you're right. You know, when Chris and Barb and everybody and Yolanda sent me the audio, and now I'm getting the pictures. I'm actually seeing, like I said, that yes, they did. I think they brought her home. I think she took the ride 100%. Home with them.
And you know, the other one that had the problem a couple of weeks ago, you know, we saw another problem go on a few weeks back. It was good to see she's come back. That took 2 weeks of coming back and going all over the joint, you know, doing other experiments and things. Hi, Russ. Like I'm really proud of all the different shows that we're speaking so much about protection and all of that sort of stuff, because especially at this time when you're talking about the VEIL, you don't go playing around with that. At this time, this moment in time is serious business. You don't play around, you know, like it's too open, you know, like what's going on at the moment. There's all sorts of in and outs and up and down and sideways that you don't want to play with it. Or if you're going to play, make sure you protect it up 100%.
Yeah, you know, and I tell a lot of, and I don't know if people laugh, you know, at me, you know, and I tell them how important it is when you go on investigations to, you know, to protect yourself before, during, and after, before you go home. And a lot of people I talk to, whether it's FaceTime over the phone or video or Skype, whatnot, they kind of look at you funny. They're like, I'm not worried about attachments. And I'm like, you don't understand. It may not affect you now, but it can affect you down the road. May not knock on your door right now at the moment after the investigation. It may manifest itself a month or 2 months, 6 months down the road. And I've actually seen that, right? I've seen people have problems in relationships. I've seen relationships split. I've seen marriages gone south. And I've seen people change. I've seen people get depressed. Now, can I officially say that it's, caused by an attachment? No, I cannot say that because of mental illness and depression that runs rampant across the world. But what I'm saying is that, do the necessary steps just in case. JIC. It's what we'd always say it, just in case, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong to have extra protection than to have none at all, right? I'd rather have it than not need it than need it than not have it, is the old saying. So, and what's the old saying? It's safe than never, and never than safe. Sorry, then right. Yep. There we go. Thank you.
And forewarned is you're protected.
Yeah. So absolutely.
But like that, to me, that's like, taking the handbrake off before you start the car, like locking the door up. If you leave the front door open, expect visitors is all I can say. And if you don't close the door, expect the visitors to remain.
Yeah, you got a point. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, like it's basics.
And I understand that they want to push the envelope, right? I understand that people want evidence. And I understand that people want to, hey, Yolanda, I was just talking about you and playing your audio that you captured, by the way, and talking about you and your headphones. Thank you. I'm playing with my TENS unit right now. It's not working for some reason. So if I end up getting like, I got shocked the heck out of me. So
don't do that. You freak
it's
us
not
out.
Connecting, yeah. There we go. Now it's starting to work. But people do want to push the envelope to get evidence, right? But I always say there's the right way and the wrong way. Russ, from the story you can see in his face, yeah, you can. And but I know everybody wants to be first, and I do applaud them because they do a lot of things the scientific way, and they try a lot of different methods. But you got to be worried about attachments. You really do.
It's like sharing chicken pox. You don't do it. Like you protect up first. That's priority. You've got to protect each other at all times, and that means upstairs, downstairs, whatever. Like everyone's still got their own privacy and their needs and wants as well. Like if that lady wants to go, like Michelle said, then I'd be asking. When I saw that lady, I'd be asking, what's up? Can I help you? Do you want to leave? Is there anything I can do for you before you leave? Go into healing mode kind of thing, like.
Yeah, I would too. Now, I mean, curiosity opens the door. So it doesn't matter how much you protect yourself before, during, or after. If you're curious enough to open the door, then you really need to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, first summer rule, if I come across something like that, is to find out why they're still trapped there, why they're still doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but you would really be calm and be like, I'm sorry, mate. What are you doing?
Yeah, I would. Well, I have had
experience. I would lose my stuff and I'd probably pass out, my feet up in there, probably wet myself, and probably run into the wall and knock myself out.
I go into business mode, like like in a car accident.
That's practice.
I'm the same. Like I go into business mode. No matter how scary or whatever's going down, I've got to appreciate the situation I'm in, because I got myself in there to begin with. So I'm going to go straight to business mode, make sure everyone's okay, including upstairs, downstairs, whoever, and just try and settle the situation. Otherwise, the situation could grow into something worse.
Yeah, and if you haven't got the tools in your kit, then you find someone who does.
Yeah.
So you just don't, drop it. But fear is the worst thing you can do in all situations. I think that comes from being around animals a lot. I mean, the minute you go into fear, you're going to die.
Well, thanks.
You get burned in the head by a hoof. Yeah.
And what's weird though is they said during the interview, when I don't know if it was when they saw the girl and they freaked out, they heard the footsteps around the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, yeah.
Like, it's good. I agree. It's great what they're doing. But I just think, maybe have a set lot of questions before you go in there.
Yeah, but you always try to pass. I mean, wouldn't you be like, put yourself in your shoes? So you've been taken down a mine by a couple of men, God knows what for. We can just imagine, and then you get drowned. You get drowned down there. Like that's unfinished business, and that will keep them attached. And it's also could have been a very traumatic death as well. That also keeps them trapped. Yeah, it was really traumatic death. Okay, so I'm getting confirmation of that. So that's going to keep her trapped as well. And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be feeling too sunny or smiley or whatever if I was in that situation as well. I'd be like, get me the out of here.
Yeah, right. Like, you don't know what they did to her. Like.
No, it was traumatic. So that's definitely confirmed for me. But Chris would freak out. I know. I would have once too. And I tell you what, as a child, I did freak out. I freaked out because I got terrorized every night, and my parents couldn't console me, and I could not explain to them what was happening to me.
Yeah. That's what I mean about the kids. If there are kids in the house, you got to include them as well. The whole house is
now they did have one of their children with them when I think he's 15 or 16 or maybe 17. But they did have one of their children during the investigations. I don't think he wants to do any more investigations.
I'm not surprised.
So, and we didn't talk about that part on the air. We kind of left that out because maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, and that's no disrespect to them,
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's an important lesson for everybody, even if they're sitting close by in the car outside and you're in the house, not that you'd leave them in the car by themselves, but it's just an important lesson for everybody, and the dogs and the animals. It's not just the people. You'll see the dogs will start playing up, or the kids won't be able to sleep, or or they might feel crook, seedy or headaches or.
Well, I don't hunt for it anymore either. I don't go looking for it. I avoid it if possible. But if I am confronted by it, or it comes across my path, then I try to deal with it as well as I can. With the best possible outcome, because okay, though I have been into pubs where there's been murderers there, which I got out of pretty quick. I was like, nah, that's above my pay grade.
Don't get up to that.
A lot of old pubs, and especially mining areas and stuff like that, have got some pretty, shady characters.
Yeah. Well, that situation that they had was similar to a place that I cleansed or in Ballarat, and that was all Chinese mines, flooding. It was almost identical, Grizzy, to that situation over there. Oh boy, was it hard to fix up, because you're going back not just a couple of 100 years, there's a whole lot of ancestry and history and different cultures, and then you're trying to speak in a lingo that they can understand. It was really hard. And because of all the hidden things that they don't tell you about, what really happened down there in those mines, not nice.
Right, right. Thank you, Lolo. Awesome. Thank you. Greatly appreciate all that. Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing. And you don't know what happened. So, and that was one of the things that they were talking about, because they knew that 3 people allegedly, or 2 people allegedly, did die. They don't know about the woman, how what the intentions were. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be careful what we say on the air. But evidently dynamite did go off, and they all died, and the tunnel did flood. So so yes. So yeah.
They knew she was down there. The other guys knew she was there.
Did they?
That's what Pendy says. And they didn't do what we were thinking, that, they didn't do that to her.
Okay.
No, I just said the death was traumatic. So
yeah, it looks like she was down there with them mining, but the only lady down there by the looks.
So now they did say that there were lady workers that used to work in the mine, but for some reason they were banned from mining over there in UK. Something about their tops or something. I forgot how they said it, but yeah. So they had to remove the women, and because I think certain things did happen. So they had to remove all the women from the mines, and they were not allowed to mine down there anymore. So that did not mean that they did not sneak down there to make money, right? To work. So
yeah, and there's another attachment, attached to whatever they're mining as well.
Yeah, and then all the geo.
Yeah,
it's got all the geo stress there with water and everything as well. And you've got all the like the old arsenics and things like that would be hanging around in the water. Very dangerous house.
Oh, that was the other thing. The house was on top of the coal mine, which is a creek that ran underneath the house.
Yeah.
Which people has taken their lives in the house. The family member lost their life in a car accident on this road, and another family member, I think, if I stand corrected, lost their life on the same road on the same day, 10 years apart, in another car accident. Yes, Yolanda.
That's giving me a pain in my heart.
Very bad energy. Yes.
2 car accidents, the same family, the same date, the same time, both children.
Yes.
I think was like 10 years apart.
10 years apart. That is correct.
Yeah. At full, like that place really needs some help.
And the daughter was moving into the house, and I'm like, "What are you crazy? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
giving me
yes.
a pain in the heart.
That Yolanda, that is exactly what I was thinking. She wanted revenge. That was my thinking, but but evidently, Cath is saying she was working. So
yeah, it seems like she's working.
Even so, it doesn't really matter. She needs to be moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the attempt to move her on.
She wants to be moved on. Big yes. It would make a terrifying movie, Yolanda.
Yolanda, when you caught that audio, and when Ron says it looked like the girl that came out of the Ring movie, and that black stuff coming out of her mouth like the mist or the smoke, no, I mean, I would have took the lids off my holy water, and I would have been like double fisting, like squeezing the bottles. I probably would have passed out. I ain't gonna lie. So
it was
you
freaky.
all laugh. You don't freak me out. You sipping on your tea. I thought somebody was saying hello. And then I thought the dogs were barking. I thought they were children laughing. I was freaking out over that. That
Yeah,
time
to
I
see how it goes, and then you start seeing things in every corner.
then I got my crucifix in my other hand, you know. So
Well,
yeah,
how much faith do you have in that if you're so scared?
I do have my faith in my faith
Then you
my
shouldn't be
belongings. Yes.
Someone mentioned that Chris had his cross upside. Not Chris. Mick had his
Michael.
cross upside down.
Yeah.
You know, at the big back of the screen.
Yeah, Michael does, and yeah. So, hello, Lala. Welcome to the show. Well, you have missed
Hey,
an
Lala. Come in,
interesting
Lala.
topic. Yeah, Yolanda's right. The handprint came from the side of the window, from the side where Ron was sitting. That is correct.
Yeah. His right
Yolanda, you need to get with Chris and Barb. They actually, I don't know if you heard, they got her face coming through the curtain, Yolanda. Yes, they got her face, the girl. So yeah, it's like a whole nother dimension coming through now. It's like oof. But yes. Faith is the powers of the tools. The tools are powers of faith. That is correct, Mr. Lewis. Thank you. I do applaud you. That is correct. That gives me extra faith. That is correct. That does. So
Lola, we had an incident this week on another show, and there were attachments involved, and it was a terrifying house. All sorts of things happened. And we were just mentioning, you know how you picked up that the cross was upside down a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, they've got their big back screen, the whole screen, like their screensaver, and they've got a cross upside down at the back of it.
So
maybe.
So, and somebody called him out on the show, and Ron knows his stuff, and he was like, well, hold up. And he was like, Peter did that because he did not want to be hung like Jesus because he was a disgrace. I forgot the actual verbiage, why he hung upside down on the cross. But, you know, to me, in my opinion, that is a disgrace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the Savior. To me, that's just my opinion. But, you know, yeah, FDL does have their inverted cross. And he was like, okay, well, let's call it a sword. It does look like a sword, but
yeah, it does look like a sword.
It is a cross. We know it's a cross. So, it took my breath away.
So it was really freaky, Lola. Like there's a hand came on the curtain. You could see when the guy got attached. It was pretty full on. And then we hear this voice saying, hello.
Yeah. I played it like 6-7 times before you got on the show. Yolanda caught it with her headphones. I was so asphyxiated with the handprint coming through the curtain while we were doing the interview or our live show on the air. I didn't hear nothing else. I was like, you know how you focus on something and you just cannot, like, you don't hear nothing or see nothing else because you're like, is this paranoia? Is this really happening on live show? Is this really happening? Oh my God! I'm like, hey, everybody, that's a handprint. And when I said it, it just like slowly dissipated. And everybody was like going back live, stopping, watching the show and going back and rewinding. They're like, Grizzly's right. Grizzly's right. And I was like, okay, it's not me just seeing things, right? So yeah, it was very interesting. Then other evidence, Yolanda caught the EVP during the show, the lady's voice, and now the faces and other stuff. And it's just like compiling. And so, yeah, so the attachment didn't come home. Oh, unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to go back and follow that one up.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. So there's not that there's anything that's possibly prefabricated. This was all legit and upfront presentation.
No. He actually got up immediately, showed what was behind the curtain, and you know, curtain rods are about that far from the wall, right? You know how they come out and bend, right? You know, the little L where you hang it. So he opened up the curtain and showed there was a window. So there's no possible way that anybody could be behind the curtain. I mean, he did that to show everybody that nobody's there. just to
Legitimate.
prove
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
to,
full on.
you know, yeah. So it was all legit. Now the voice, we went back and everybody watched. Nobody, Ryan was talking. No other female was talking when it was, you know, and we went back and I even put it on the big screen and watched it. And I got a 75-inch. So if somebody even does that, I got you. Nothing. Nobody but Ron was talking and all that. So yeah, it's all legit. Then seeing the faces on the big screen and oh yeah, no.
Sometimes, Anthony, yes, you can.
Yes, that is possible. And Nana Boss is pretty good. She sounds well rounded when it comes to this. And Nana Boss, you're more than free to speak about it.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody else. So yeah.
Sorry, this is Lola.
Yeah, introduce yourself, Lala. The people that don't know you, I'm sorry.
Okay, I kind of pop in and out, don't I? Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Lola. I don't really know how to introduce myself. I have an interest and a background in animal healing, entity clearing, and energetic healing, just to put it very simply and basically. So I have a strong interest in what you're talking about here. Yeah, I'm not great at introducing myself.
I should have introduced you better. It was my fault.
No.
It's not like throwing her underneath the bus and putting you on the spot or anything, right? So yeah. But she does have abilities, ladies and gentlemen. She's very special. So yes. So sometimes I put her on the spot, and you got to watch her face. She'll go. So yeah.
It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So I'm all for it.
Lala's like, wait, there are two Lalas now. This is Lala.
Lola.
That Lola.
Lala.
Lola. That Lala got me. Lala.
Lola.
I can't even say it now. Lala.
Well, Lala means grandmother in not Portuguese, in where are the happy people? Manila. Who are the people from Manila?
The Philippines.
That's it, in Filipino.
Yeah.
So yeah. Lala, grandmother. But no, I'm not a Lala, even though I am called Lala at times, but I'm a Lola or Lola.
Lola, that's right.
Lola.
That's the
one. Now you're gonna make me get that song stuck in my head, right? Yeah, I could not handle two Lalas. I can tell you that, ladies and gentlemen.
Lola, yes.
There ain't no way. No. No.
Yes, Chris, so, that's correct.
So yes.
Yeah. Lola and Lala.
She spells her name. If I click it off, you'll see how she spells it. Lolla. That's how she spells her name. I don't know why. I wish StreamYard, and I argue with them about that when I click on people's comments. I wish everybody's names would stay up, right?
It's very quick.
Yeah, and I had to change how the comments come up, because the other way it was blocking people's pictures, so I had to change the format. But StreamYard knows me by my personal name. Trust me, we get along very well. But they do take care of me and everybody. Spell it, Grizzly. I did. Lolla. Lolla. Are you making fun of my accent?
Lola.
Lolla.
See?
There you go.
Correct.
So there we go. Yes.
Lola's now been introduced, and so has Lala. So
yeah. So everybody in here's got abilities, ladies and gentlemen. So I always have to thank Pure Thoughts and White Lights and white little fairies and little polka doo dots and two shoes, or what do you call those things they used to wear in those short little dresses? Shirley Temple used to wear them. Y'all know who Shirley Temple is?
Mhm.
No, you don't. You do?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm older than you
Two
guys.
shoes. Are they two shoes? Is that what do they call them, Chris? Those little two shoes? Is that what they call them? La. Standing stone.
Didn't she just tap everywhere?
Yeah, little red tic taps.
Isn't she a tap dancer?
Yeah, she was.
Hmm.
Yeah, what were they called? I'm trying to catch up on the comments. Y'all got me laughing. Filipino. I was right. Let me go down the bottom. I think they're called two shoes, of course. I think it's two shoes. Two twos. That's what they're called.
Tutus. That's a dress. A skirt.
Well, that's like you all asked me that one night, Grizzly, do you wear thongs? And I about fell out. I'm like, what in the hell? Y'all asked me that on the show? And I'm like, y'all crazy. And y'all looked at me like I was nuts. And everybody in the audience was like, did they just ask Grizzly if he wore thongs?
Well, they
And I
made
was
you
like,
naked.
Yeah, I know, right? And I couldn't believe it. And I was shocked. So, ladies and gentlemen, and before y'all, I know, hold up, Chris, hold up. Look, Lola, I can't even talk now, daggone it. Now, look, before we go any further into the ditch, because Yolanda ain't grabbing the wheel, neither is Nana Boss if she's still here. Yeah, I want you all to tell everybody in the audience what these things you all thought I was wearing. Tutu, that's right. No, tell them. Y'all just sitting there looking like statues. Tell them what thongs are.
Thongs? Thongs are shoes.
Yeah.
Well,
Slip-slops.
which country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thongs are rubber shoe. Well, they're just a flat piece of rubber, basically, with a Y shape that you stick your toes, your big toe and your next toe in, and you wear them as shoes. The other definition.
Yes, we know what the other. So yes, they're flip flops, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they call. That's what they are in America, flip flops. But that's not what they called them. Are you okay, Michelle?
Thongs.
No, that question. That's someone that question noticed a change in my energy. Is that correct?
Yeah,
is that how I'm reading that? Yes, true, but nothing to do with Lola. It was I'm working on something in the background that just came up around all of this, so that's what I was doing. So my attention went elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So no, nothing to do with Lola's intro of herself. I'm just working on something else in the background, as in energy wise. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was embarrassed.
Yeah, thongs.
Yes. So
they have throwing competitions of thongs, and then that's how we got into this
on the air. Like 2 or 3 months ago. I about fell out.
Yeah. Because we were talking about games and the different lingo, and
Yolanda, don't you take the wheel tonight, darling. Jesus has got it. That's the one thing I'm gonna say. I know, Chris.
Shoes.
They are not shoes. They are flip flops. Thank you. Yeah. And then I hate we all call Crocs.
Crocs.
All those rubber shoes, plastic shoes that everybody tends to wear.
Yeah.
Okay, Nana Boss is still here. I just want to make sure. So
flip flops. Yeah, those ones too.
Yolanda, why did I have to click on that? I knew it. I should have looked before I clicked. I think we need a cartoonist. Barb's jumping in on it now. Oh my God, Chris, everybody, look. In Florida, we call them flip flops. Thank you, Nana Boss. I appreciate that. Yes.
The sunny state.
We can't call them flip flops. We'd sound like a bloody American.
But we call crocodile. I would lose it. I'm walking around Australia and people be talking. I could not keep a straight face, in public. I would get the snot beat out of me. I know I would. I already know I get snot beat out of me in UK because I said one word to one of my buddies in UK, what was that word I said to my buddy? And I was like, what was that word? And then he like flipped out. He was like, mate, when you come over here, you cannot say that. And I was like, what did I say? He's like, you'll get the snot beat out of you. Well, he didn't say that. He said the other word. But I forgot I said a word, and it's just a common word we say over here. And he's like, that means you want to fight. And I'm like, oh, great. And he was like, man, he's like, look, he said, when you come over here, we're going to sit down for half a day, and we're going to go over lingo, and we're going to teach you what to say, what not to say, and our words and slang. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He said, I'm not going to let you go out with me. He said, we're going to be out in public. We're in a pub. You're going to say something stupid, and all hell's going to be hurt real bad. And I'm like, great. But I can't remember the word. It's just a common word.
It wasn't FAG.
No, that means a cigarette. So
Not
yeah,
over here. It doesn't.
So, but I can't remember what it. I can't. I'll think of it here in a minute.
It's hard for you too, Grizzy, because like we've kind of got our own lingo. Like I've got my own lingo that that is my lingo. That
Where does this come from?
You're up against it.
I'm not getting a tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp.
You had one, Chris.
No, I never had one. Why would I have one? No, well,
it's all
I must miss that
long thing. You know that, don't you?
No.
If you've got a song, they reckon you got to have a tramp stamp.
Oh my Lord.
Whoa.
Irene, welcome to the ditch, Irene.
Hi, Irene.
Yeah, hey, Brian, welcome to the ditch too.
Yeah, get ready. No, Brian.
I'm trying to think. What was it?
God, they're a lively crowd today.
Oh no! Yeah. I told my buddy, I'm like, man, this is so stoked, and he flipped out. Stoked, STOKE, and he had a meltdown. Yes. So, hey, Sarah Brown, how you doing?
Why? Because stoke the fire. That's what we say here.
Yeah,
no, over in UK, that means you're ready to fight. You want to brawl.
Well,
and I'm like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. He's like, mate, you can't say that.
We say here, I'm stoked. That means I'm wrapped. Excellent.
Yeah.
Stoked. Yeah. Excellent.
See, that's the context I was using it.
Yeah.
So yeah. But man, he had a meltdown. My buddy, the guy that owns the EMF band, yeah. I mean, he's gonna sit there and he's gonna lecture me. Sorry, Derry, I threw you underneath the bus, but yeah, he's gonna lecture me on lingo and slang when I come over before we go to any outings or anything, because he's afraid I'm gonna say the wrong thing. So
it'd be easy over there though.
Why? Because I be just talking to him. He's like, Grizzly, you can't say that. I'm like, why not? He's like, that's bad. And I'm like, man, why do y'all make things so worse, so bad over there?
We were in Middle East one time, and things were pretty
hold
bad.
Up here. Look at this. La. How in the world do you
get drunk?
get that by accident? So, yes, I want to know how. No, I don't want to know. I repeat that. Do not answer that question.
It's not like stepping in dog do, is it?
Yeah. Oh, don't get Brian on that.
Oh, God. Now we're getting bad.
Yes, do not get Brian on that question. Brian Barber, don't ask that question, sir. Chris is stoked.
Where is it?
Oh my God. You got to watch Brian's show, and when his wife found out what he had in his freezer, and oh my God, it's just he is the best guy to have. I got to have him on another show. But yeah, thanks, Chris. You're not adding to it. I would say something, but I can't, because one of the platforms And I'm not going to embarrass myself. Yeah, he did step in it. Remember, he left his shoes or boots in the woods. Remember, because he was like, they're $100-something. Hey, I ain't taking them home. But yes, Bigfoot scat. We'll leave it at that. So I like to stoke the fire. No, you just like to start
Poke the
it.
bear.
Yes, that's what Nana Bosses likes to do. So yeah, la la ha ha, the hilarious, the oopsie train. Yeah,
We were in the Middle East once, and things were pretty bad. And my brother was after some music, and he asked for ELO. The whole city shut down. All the screens came down. All the doors came down. The whole market was evacuated because they thought he was saying the other thing, starting with P, not E. Anyway, it was serious business. They were at the time taking over the country.
LEO.
My brother was after ELO. You know the music, Electric Light Orchestra.
Oh, music.
Yeah. But they thought he said P first instead of E. Anyway, don't worry about it. It was serious business. Like the whole town shut down because they thought it was the other mob. Anyway.
I got you. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it was very bad. We had to bolt.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That is bad.
Yes. Yep. Delete.
What's behind her?
You don't want to know. Do not go there.
What?
Behind Lola?
No. I don't know what they're talking about. You're trying to.
What
are you really
no, do not.
What?
No.
I'm lost.
You're talking about tattoo still.
Are they?
Yes, there's talking about tattoo still.
Well, I wouldn't know. I'm a clean skin, so.
Yeah. What is a tramp stamp?
Oh my Lord. Do not, ladies and gentlemen on the show, answer that. And do not. I'm begging you, do not. Please do not answer that. Do not. Chris,
okay,
Nana,
sorry,
Bob,
everyone.
Yolanda,
it means no
D-Worm. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Here we go, Sarah Brown. Y'all really do not know what that is?
I don't.
Oh my Lord.
Do you know, Lola?
Well, it's a label, really, at the end of the day. I mean,
oh my Lord.
Think about it, though. Okay, turn it around a little bit. Okay, people go out and they get tattoos for different reasons, right? Without that intention of it representing something other than what they think it does. Their intention is, right? But in different areas of life, different people for different reasons, their environment, the people they deal with, they then create a label for something, right? So what they've done is they've created a label for a tattoo that's placed near the base of the spine above the backside.
Oh.
Right?
Now that is the most scientific answer I've ever heard.
Yeah, well done.
Well,
I can't believe she answered it that well.
Well, there's no trouble.
It's like having, a decorated plumber's crack,
Oh.
But look, label. It's a label. People put labels on things, and then people carry it on. So it can be nothing, becomes something. Yeah.
True. Like the other day when this horror show went down in this house, these numbers came up, right? And straight away they thought angelic numbers. I'm thinking dates, not so much angelic numbers, like I know, Bob. It always goes. What do you say, Grizzy? Train tracks with Cath.
Oh my Lord, here we go.
Is it a butterfly, or it can be anything?
No, it can be
I'm not
anything.
answering nothing on that. I'm not. Poor Anthony Lewis. I don't know.
Oh,
It shows what.
Anthony. That's gross. Oh my God, we've hit the ditch. Okay, so Lola, what's
Yeah.
She
happening
just
in the
admitted
healing
we hit
world?
the ditch. I cannot believe this. Poor Chris. I know Chris definitely. Lala. I know did. Lord have mercy.
Don't, Chris.
Chris
Please
is
don't.
fine.
Yakuza.
Oh man.
You need to be careful about tattooing stuff on your body because we're 80% water, and you've seen what energetic intent does to water. You know, you've seen all those, you know, where it changes like bad energy, and so anyone who puts skulls or whatever on their body is like, well, you got to live with that and the energetic repercussions of it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. A lot of people
That
don't into it either.
hey.
You got two sides of it as well, though. This is where it comes. So, why do people tattoo themselves? Okay, what are they trying to do with the tats? What's the reasoning behind the tats? So, anything we do, there's an intention behind it. Yeah. So, when somebody has a tattoo, it can be for a particular reason other than they just like it. They want something to remember by.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
Right. But there are things, symbolic things, that a lot of people tattoo on their bodies.
And have no idea what it means.
Absolutely. And discussions that come to them for that. But a lot of things, I believe, and from what I've seen, is more so about the intent. If you take away the energy, that it's like what do you call it? It's like the stamps that we were just talking about. Okay. It may have come out, just originated through something quite simple. Somebody liked it. They wanted it to sit above their bikini, or, you know, who knows, whatever. But then it developed into something else. So it created an energy within itself. Yeah. And the more people that recognized it and acknowledged it and related to that, it gained more and more energy. Yeah. So if you something can present itself and it can be quite innocent, and until you put something to it, it has. Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know how we're supposed to stay on track with all these guys going on. They're just naughty. Naughty. You'll need to go to the naughty corner. Cut it out.
And we got this scientist doctor over here, you know, Lola, giving us a scientific explanation, you know, and bless her heart. And we got people over here train wrecking everything in the ditches. You know.
At least
Interesting.
I think, Chris, you could just show us your tramp stamp right now and just cut to the chase and get this all over.
You really want to see it?
No, not me. But
you really want to see it?
Yeah.
Have you got one? Have you got one?
Yeah, I sure do. See?
Oh, you've got a beauty.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's
What is
not quite in the right place. Anyway.
It's a Celtic cross.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
Look
at Michelle. She's starting to blush. She's like, what?
Oh, well, I thought you were going to show us your butt crack. And that would not have been good.
No, pass.
And then the other one, I got a big shield and armor and it's yeah, so. But anyways, they're still going in the ditch. Well, I bet everybody in the audience was like,
it's like, pull up now.
Yeah, everybody was like, he's gonna do it.
I liked how everyone went quiet that day when they said you were naked. The whole place just went dead silent.
I know.
But it was a good save. Thanks, Standing.
Nana Boss has got 29. Well, you know, she's got one. Lord have mercy.
I thought those butterfly ones came in. You know, when everyone was wearing those pants that you had to you want to pull up all the time. You know, they're down around their ankles. Those long shorts. You know
that. Get off the subject. Will you just?
Yes, stop? I am.
The undies up here and the pants down there, and they look like dirty diapers or something.
Yeah. And garbage had
I don't know that there's many people who don't have tattoos now.
No.
Would you call it?
I've thought about it.
Would you just call it?
Tattoos.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Tattoos.
Well, you
Tattoo.
know, I have an accent, apparently. Yeah, there's not many people. I don't think I know many that don't have tattoos.
No, me either.
Ink. Does that sound better? Ink that aren't inked.
Yeah, that's
You're inked.
So, you know, a lot of departments, you know, became widely accepted because before you couldn't have them past your shirt sleeve because you couldn't. Thank you. You couldn't show your tats. You had to wear long sleeves, or you had to wear those. I call them burn victim outfits that were nude colored, skin color tones to cover them up.
Yeah.
Same thing with doctors. Doctors wouldn't hire you, and nurses. A lot of people wouldn't hire you with tats, and now they're becoming, you know, widely accepted.
Yeah.
So now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, I've seen people with face tattoos. I'm like, why in the world would you do that to yourself? You know, at least mine are hidden. You know.
Hipsters.
So I don't know. Yeah, Thomas, I'm trying to get out of the ditch, but my 4-wheel drive's not going in the low gear.
Yeah, we need a turbo.
So
All right,
I'm trying to play catch up on the comments. So
anything interesting happening in the healing world this week?
Well, we've come to there's some big shift in energies this week. Yesterday was a major day. I can't think of what it's called, but there's been major shift. So we've moved into a totally different energy. I've forgotten what it is. There's something or other of the cross. Not sure. Don't remember the name. But what is going on?
They're trying to stir us up, and they've managed very well.
Oh, no.
I did good until Michelle lost it, and then I couldn't click off of it. Every time I click and nothing happened, it got stuck on the comment. So let me try this again. There we go. Really, Standing Stone?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Poor Irene and everybody.
Those numbers of what's come into challenge as of yesterday.
Exactly. And boy, did it hit fast.
That is, yeah. So this is the turnover. This is, I don't know what, there's something or other cross it's called. But there's a massive change. It's got something to do with what's happening in the world, you know, through all the governments and all these turnovers that they're trying to do. You know, it's like new contracts and things like that. So it's so important for people to be in their center, be clear-minded, clear direct values, all of that sort of thing, and not to buy into the entrapments that they're giving people the opportunity to buy into. Yeah, and you know, they've pushed people to a place where they've become desperate in a lot of ways. And when people are desperate, you know, they make silly decisions.
There's a lot of saboteurs out there at the moment too, sucking people in, like vulnerable people.
Well, they make fear-based decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is to stay out of the fear base as much as you can, and make decisions from there.
And we've got that next moon coming up too.
Isn't it? There was supposed to be 2.
Yeah, 2 blueies.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 blues. Now, let me ask you all this on a serious note. What do you all think about that chip implant where you just wave your hand over the credit card scanner to pay for your merchandise now?
No way.
Yeah, no consent, not whatsoever.
I don't like it at all. It's just another tracker.
And there's and is that the mark of the beast that they talk about?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wonder about that.
So there's so many different,
And is that the reason why they changed the Data Act? They changed the Data Act over here so that they can manipulate data, delete it, change it. That happened 2 years ago. I'd say that was specifically for these things coming up, because there's no way, like, they can manipulate it, they can do whatever you like, but that means there's no true judicial system again, because they can manipulate the data. So you can't prove what was what was true in the first place.
Yeah. They're passing things to back themselves up. That's been going on for so long. I spoke to somebody briefly yesterday, and they were saying that some of these bylaws or whatever it is, they're referring to them as how they've been passed. They're now going to become null and void because the way the process was done. They try and get a lot of this stuff done like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, where nobody's showing up and nobody really knows what's happening. So they've got no opposition.
Yeah.
And the court systems, a lot of people out there doing a lot of really hard, really good work to try and support and prevent a lot of this rubbish from happening. They probably need more support in that.
Exactly, Brian.
But, we should really be looking at what our choices are and what we're supporting and what we're not. And humans have become very lazy, especially after the whole shutdown thing. That was pretty much their only way of making massive change within a very short space of time. And even if you look at some of the TV shows, like, I don't really watch TV, but if you have a look at some of the shows that they're putting on, they're really just training people to think and be a certain way, and making all these things that really aren't acceptable because it becomes the norm. Look at, what was the last show that came on over here? They're chasing, they release a few people into the city and they have to survive for 2 weeks and then be picked up by a helicopter on the last day at a designated point, which they don't know.
Hunted
the day before or something. Yeah. And they're using all their technology to hunt these people down and catch them.
Yeah.
You think about some of the movies in the past where they've depicted the same sort of things. Even that whole Mockingbird, was it Mockingjay? Mockingjay,
yes.
So, you look at the things that are coming through, it's not unrealistic, but they're normalizing things. People are enjoying it. They think it's harmless, but they don't recognize the process, and they're slowly just putting things, implementing different things into society, which will become the norm unless people start to wake up a little bit and go, hey, I'm not accepting this. This is not my reality. And changing their choices, looking at things differently.
Can you imagine, like, we had 24 hours here, right, one day. I'm always going on about the solar panels and all the blah, blah, the wind and all of that sort of stuff. We lost our communications for 24 hours, right? Someone hit a post 100 miles away and it knocked out all the lines. So there was no electricity in town. I only live in a small town, 2,600 people, right? Nothing compared to the cities. The power went down for 24 hours. Oh boy, what a nightmare. All the parents were freaking out because they couldn't control their kids. They didn't have their iPads. They didn't have their phones. They didn't have their watches. But the thing I found amusing was I had $5. And so I went up to the petrol station to get a Coke, battery acid, I call that. So I go up there and the guys can't give me a Coke. I said, how come? They can't open the cash register. And then I go downtown, to see what else is open. All the supermarkets, everything's closed. Why? They can't open the cash register. You've got people lined up at the petrol station freaking out. They can't get any further. They're stuck. Now, you imagine all these people, everyone's hooked to communications, watches, phones, iPads, you name it, ear things. To me, I find it hilarious because the minute these solar panels and all of this, then they're on a grid. They're totally useless. It's not self-sufficiency. You can't just flick the switch and turn yourself on because they're all hooked up to the grid. And then all of this concerns me because everything's vibratory. So whoever has control over all of these bandwidths or whatever, the vibratory 5G, 4G, 3G, exactly. This is why, Yolanda, I'm very big on security. A lot of people are not thinking about water, electricity, food, fencing, little things like that, like it's a worry. I really worry about all these comms all being connected. And if they're talking about chips now, and all the little kids that were getting those anklets for their mummies and daddies to track their kidlets.
Oh, that's crazy.
They're targets. Like, I don't like it. Exactly. There's no point in being on the grid. Totally useless.
Everybody wants a phone. Everybody wants to stay in contact. Everybody's given them their consent, whether they realize it or not, for them to use their information, to use them as trackers, to use them in whichever way, because nobody looks at the small print because it's too much to read. And as I was told one day, they put all of that because they know you're not going to go through it. And they just give you page after page after page. So you don't know what it is that you're really consenting to. Who owns who owns the program? Who develops the program?
Well, there's tracking this anklet thing I'm going on about. I did some research on it. In 2014, the prisons over here had the trackers, and they were used for bail situations. But what happened was the company did some own investigating of their own and found out that no, the actual source and who was controlling these trackers was a big mistake. So in 2014, they dropped out of the whatever you call it. I can't think. Anyway, they dropped out of it. So they gave up and they wouldn't have anything more to do with them. So, but at the moment, all of those same ones are being sold brand new. Like, they're still the same company and you know where they're based. Like, you can get a clue. The control over it, oh boy, it's scary. I don't like that.
Well, here's my thought. Okay. So if they go along with this will become a norm. Okay. This will come to pass. And they want to do away with money. They want to do away with paper currency. And once they do away with that, G-Man, because I can't say the G word, we have to call it G-Man because we're being monitored and we will get flagged.
They love us.
Right. Then they can control us. They can say, Grizzly, guess what? Instead of you getting $1,500, let's call them credits now, like they did back in the wartime. They have war stamps over in America for rations to buy food and supplies or whatnot. So now instead of you getting $1,500, you've been bad, we're going to cut you back. We're going to give you 1,100. Well, let's talk about utilities. Now they can regulate your utilities. Now you're averaging 600 kilowatts. I don't know how much that is. Let's just say that, for example. Now, instead of you getting 600, we're going to cut you back to 400. I see regulations coming. I'm seeing they're having more control over the population and more control over people. That's my thing. That's what worries me.
The other thing is the insurance companies have changed everything. So it wasn't just like at first it was flood prone areas. It was this and that. Exactly, Yolanda. My information security background has been on that for years. Now they're saying like all the old houses and that, they won't insure them. They're trying, it seems like they're trying to make us homeless.
Well, you know, look at it. I mean, a lot of areas, the floods, fires, even what's happening there in Hawaii. Okay. This is all prime land. They have an intention, you know, these cities and things that they want to set up. Okay. Yeah. I was watching something the other night and it was showing how the properties have actually been affected over there in Hawaii.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I found
it's not that, Cath. It is terrible. There's no doubt about it. Okay. But it's how the burning has happened.
Exactly.
The way the burning is, certain things have not been touched.
Yeah, that was what happened over here. We had perfect green patches amongst full burnt out, explosive burnouts. But here's this beautiful little green patch.
And even the trees in certain areas, which should really be at least singed, have not been singed. So it leads you to ask certain questions. But there's also a book that's been released, which I think was just, a month before or something, the fires actually happened over there now in Hawaii. And it was all based on the fires of Maui or something like that. I can't remember what it's been called, but it's all got to do with that. It's the same. It's like it's already happened. They've already known about it or they've already seen it. And this book is about it all. I don't know what the insides are about exactly because I haven't read it, which I will go back and actually have a look because I'm quite curious to see.
Well, that's like the fires in Canada affected the United States, affected us here where I live in Kentucky, the smoke, right? That's strange because Chris looked into it with some other people on YouTube, and it was mysteriously how it started. And there are certain radar or satellite images how it ignited in like all at once, right?
Like a laser.
Right. So there was a lot of questions about that. But free solar, free energy, I don't think that's ever going to happen because of G-Man. I think we're beyond the point of no return, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my thoughts. I don't think we can gain power back. I don't think our votes count anymore. I hate to say that. I don't have faith in our system over here. I hate to say it to the American people. That's just my opinion. But I think there's a lot of things that are being told us are not true here in stateside. I really don't. And I think they're covering up a lot of things as well. So, but that the banks, for example, that were going bankrupt, there's a lot more to that, and they shut them up real quick, right? Because our government, our G-Man, I can't beat that out, right? Bailed them out real quick. Well, they had to because everybody was going to run to the banks and withdraw all their money, and that was going to sink the whole U.S. economy and the world.
That's what
you
happened
know,
in Greece.
because our money is not backed by anything. You know,
Yeah.
they took away the gold standard. Thomas, Rebecca, Chris, Barb, Yolanda, when did they take the gold standard away? Back in the 60s or something? I don't remember. Somebody's got to fact check me. So our money is not backed by anything. So yeah, I don't know. So
It'd be
what is your all's
interesting.
money backed by? Is it backed by anything? Gold, silver, or anything?
Well, apparently America
D.
owns
Warren says
us.
1971 is when it stopped being backed by gold. And I remember when gold was $630 an ounce.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I knew gold was going to be $2,400 an ounce or more, and you don't think I would have bought stocks in gold back then? Oh, you better believe I would have sold my right foot and socks and shoes to buy stocks in gold. But, you know, yeah, 1973. So, yeah, or 71. So, yeah. But, you know, it's in, you know, and they keep raising our debt ceiling to trillions and trillions of dollars. And they keep making money and money to pay out. For what? Yeah, it's worthless.
To blow other countries up. That's all they're printing their stupid money for. You know, they're not buying seeds and growing food. They're blowing things up. Like you can get 4.5 billion, you know, to donate to the blowing people up. It's ridiculous.
Well, there's more money, much more money involved in that. And if you look at, see, the craziest thing is you've got these elites that are up there, you know, pushing the buttons, so to speak.
Right.
And you've got us down here. But they wouldn't have what they have except for the fact that we're here. Yeah. Now, people talk about people coming together as a community and joining as one. All right. And because one person on their own can make a difference, but when everybody comes together for a cause, that's where you've got the strength. That's where you've got the power. But they've got people so wound up and so entrapped in trying to survive that it keeps them busy and stops them from joining forces. Otherwise, you know, if people really did come, and I know this is a big, you know, sort of us sort of thing, if people really did come together, they wouldn't have the power that they have now. They wouldn't be able to do the things that they're doing now. And it's only because we've made choices, for whatever reason, to join them. This is the mobile phones. This is the way we're choosing to live. This is the work. This is the computers. These are the programs. This is, we're making money. This is, you play the stock market. And really, playing the stock markets is based on us and our birth certificates. We're actually the stock.
That is correct.
Well, it's like, you know, you give the rats some toys and they stay in Wonderland a little bit longer, don't they?
Well, yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And we do it because it's the norm. People just follow the norm.
And we're told that it's progress.
And step out, they get shut down quite quickly, or they get pushed out of society and going, oh, you're just a troublemaker. You're just that. So, yeah, I think, you know, for us to see a positive change, yes, there is a lot of people out there that are doing a lot of positive things, but how do we support that positive change? What can we, as an individual, how can we participate in doing and living our lives in such a way that we can help create that positive change for our future, for our kids' futures, for our grandkids, our great-grandkids, all of that? Because, you know...
Transparency.
But the problem is here in stateside, right? You do that and you get a label as being anti-G-man, or you get labeled as a anti, right? So I'm trying to be careful not to be flagged on one of her channels. So then you're put into a category that you're against the G-man, and now you're labeled, and now you become somebody that's fighting against us, and now you're classified as a and it's like, are you serious? So, and it's like, and Lewis said it earlier, don't take the red pill. And it's funny in a way, but he's right. Which pill do you take? But the problem is that I believe, and I do agree with you, Lola, is that our generation, or the generation prior to us, has got the blinders on. They really don't care what's going on in the world, because they've got what they want. They're living whatever. They don't care about politics and their life down the road. They're living comfortably, like Kat says, with their iPhones and iPads, and they got their Wi-Fi, whatnot, and everything's fine. But until that stuff is taken away, it's too late. And that's why I'm afraid that we are beyond that point of no return. And Chris says, don't buy into the G-man crap. That's how. But how do you get people in mass to believe you without looking like the bad guy or a bad group, right? Or the bad movement. So, how do you do that without being the bad guy?
Because they're all linked. Like over here at the moment, if you don't vote, you get a letter saying you've lost your license, your driving license. Yep. My friend got hit with a letter and went to I don't know what you call it now. It used to be called the RTA, Roads and Traffic. It's called something else now. Anyway, she went down there and said, "What's going on? What do you mean I haven't voted and my license is lost?" She doesn't have a license. This is what I mean about the data. There is no control anymore over the data because the data is incorrect. So she goes off to the RTA to say, well, what's going on? I don't have a license. Why are you trying to tell me that, you're going to take my license? I don't even have a driver's license. But that's what they're doing over here. Before you even realize it, you could be driving down the road. You haven't voted. The coppers will pull you over. Bang. You're driving an unlicensed, you're unlicensed to be driving this car.
Wow.
There are groups that have been formed, and not all over. On certain platforms, they share their information where you can go and you can learn more about your rights. Because really, I think to make that difference and to change certain things, I mean, it's always about planting the seed and then you practicing what you preach, so to speak, and then others see and what you achieve or what you're doing, and then they'll follow suit, or at least look for the information. But there are groups that you can go to that will give you information, help educate you in what your rights actually are, not what they say your rights are, but what your real rights are, so that you can truly understand what it is you're reading or what it is you're doing and why you're doing it and what changes you can make. And I think that's the key. I think the key is to make that change. We need to educate ourselves so that we can understand what's actually going on. And just the words we use in that itself makes a massive difference. It can be one word that you substitute. If you turn around, and I'd love to learn more, to do with contracts and things like that, because if you look at the words that are involved in those contracts, they have a certain meaning. We hear them as a certain way, but they may mean something else because we don't fully understand what it's actually saying. And this is where I think if we can educate ourselves, we can then start making the changes. And before even that, just actually put our foot down and say, okay, I don't give consent, even if it's just energetically. I don't agree to this. I don't give consent, because somewhere along the line, we've given consent for these things to happen. And it's about reclaiming our choices again, deleting, denouncing, destroying, whatever it is, any time that we've been entrapped or we've given that consent, not fully knowing and being aware of what it was that we were giving consent for, just denouncing it, just cancelling it right out. And I think that's possibly one of the best things you can do to start making those changes, because this what's going on isn't just here in the physical, it's in the energetic as well, because it's operating on so many different levels, and we'd be silly just to think that it's only on the physical level. It's not working just on the physical level.
And I'll give you an example of what you're talking about. Chris, Brian, Yolanda, Barb, Sarah, Russ, you won't know, Chris, Thomas, let's see here. Who else is in here? Let's see here. Nana Boss. What was that party that the Republicans started? Was it the Tea Party? What was it called years ago where everybody joined?
I think
And
it was
they had to disband it because it came so famous. And if you were a member of it, then you were against the United States Constitution, and they thought you were going to overthrow G-Man. Do you remember that party that everybody was they were joining? Was it the Tea Party? What was the party called? It was the Tea Party. Okay.
Yeah.
It was the Tea Party. Okay. And that was a prime example. Everybody banded together, and that got a large movement. And G-Man did not like it. And they start getting names of people that belong to this party, and they start crucifying them. And even politicians were involved, and they start going against them and hurting them in public view, and also job-wise. And they had to disband it because they got the classification once again that they're out to overthrow or overpower G-Man. Well, that was not the thing. The thing was to say we had enough. We want to enforce what's on the books. And I really think, thank you, Rebecca and everybody and Sarah. I think we do have two constitutions. I really do. I think we have two constitutions. I think we have the original ones our forefathers wrote, and I think we have a new one that's hidden out of sight.
I heard on the Constitution speech that you're talking about, apparently the Australian Constitution was never correctly signed in the first place, that it's only signed by one signature. So that makes it null and void.
That is possibly correct. Now, I don't know about your alls, but Brian, the Patriot Act did help, I do believe. Now, don't quote me because I have to do a little research, but that did help disbanding the Tea Party. That is correct. That was part of it. Yes, that did not help. That is correct. So, but at one time, ladies, that was a very big movement, like Lola was talking about, educating and people. And then it got to where people were like, now I'm not going to say which party, it was the donkey, but there's meeting behind closed doors and it's secret and they're conspiring. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. They were trying to get their stuff together and saying what you're doing's wrong, Kat and Michelle. You're not following what you're saying. When you gave your speech and we voted you in, you're not doing your thing. We're going to vote you out. That's what they were going to do. They were trying to strengthen their numbers and saying, look, we don't want the lifetime politicians. We want new blood in there because we have people in office that, been there 40, 50, 60 years, ladies and gentlemen, in the Senate, in the House.
I think
thank you, Brian.
the whole plan, though, started a long time ago before this was orchestrated, way back further than certain events that we are talking about.
Yeah.
This was all planned. Yes, it was.
Yes, it's all been a slow burn to get us to this point, and now we're coming to the pointy end where it's going to affect our human rights and our right to water, our right to electricity or power, or our right to burn wood, or our right to food, all that sort of stuff and water. Like, they own the water. So this has been coming for a very long time. We can talk about it till the cows come home, but it doesn't actually change what's been already put in place. And we need to really go all out raising the vibration. I agree with Lola. It's not just on one energetic plane. It's on several different levels. And we really have to go all out vibrationally to break this. It's our only way
You do, and you're right. But we have to do it in a manner to where it doesn't look like we are trying to be bad people. And that's my point, right?
Exactly.
And they are complaining they want to ban burning wood in New York for the pizza ovens. They want to ban fireplaces in some states. They already banned fire pits in some counties in certain states, in Indiana,
doing it
in
here
certain,
now.
And they want to ban gas stoves. What about gas water heaters? What about gas furnaces? And it's like, ladies and gentlemen, that's what a lot of country people have is propane and gas, LP. Heck, one of my houses years ago had off-road diesel, what they used in, farm machinery and stuff. So what are you trying to do? And, so I understand the government, I understand the G-Man wants to do certain things, right? But you are there for a certain reason. Now, what I want to do, if it's going to affect the population or the world, I can understand that to a certain degree. But when you infringe on my rights, in my constitutional rights that has been given to me, then we need to have a discussion. But I gotta be careful how I word that, because I don't want to sound like I'm against G-Man, because I'm not. I'm for everybody. I'm for what we're talking about.
Yeah, me too.
But I think that we as society, whether it's Australia or United States or Britain, UK, Russ, I think that we have got so accustomed of people taking in these politicians or legislators, however you want to call them, know that nothing's going to happen to them. And they're like, we're just going to keep taking because they're not going to stop us. And we're to the point now is we can't.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got to this level. Oh, goody. Let's see if we can get to the next level, and then the next level and the next level, because everyone's been so compliant. There obviously there's always the renegades. God bless them. So, but they're outnumbered by the sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Norma
like
says
10%.
back in 1871, when a deal was made with the British, the Queen, a fake constitution was created. Founding fathers made 2 originals to protect our constitutional rights. I think Norma, I think honestly today, I think we have the original ones that have been duplicated that we do have, right? And I do believe, and this is just my opinion, with some others, I think they have written another one that is not public view. Can I prove that? No, I cannot. So, Rebecca. Oh, Rebecca. Why did I have to click on that?
Yeah, lighten the mood, Rebecca. Yeah, it's getting way too serious. Way too serious. Because there's, until Asia said, people would just see. It's all in plain sight. What they're doing is all in plain sight. Yeah, there'll be no comeback on whoever the person you're talking about, the G-spots. There'll be no no comeback on them, because it's all in plain sight.
See, by law, as in universal law, they have to make it known what it is that they're doing. It's up to us whether we understand it or not.
Yep.
And again, it becomes in the languaging, and for as long, and we have to give permission for that, because if we consent or we don't consent, that's the influence that we have. A lot of people consent because they're not, as I said before, they're not aware of what they're actually consenting to.
Exactly.
They're being passed while everybody's asleep, literally asleep, you know, in the middle of the mornings. But there's a lot of people out there that are using their legal rights in the courts to make changes. And that's a good thing. So where we can support, you know, our well-being, you know, people's well-being, go for it. We do what we can in whatever way we can. And it's not about having to, we don't have to be aggressive, right? It's just about doing it. When we had things going on here in the lockdown and stuff, you know, the points that they were making is do everything peacefully. Because as long as you're doing everything peacefully, you're not antagonizing anything. You're making a point. You're being seen. You're being recognized. You're being acknowledged. But you're not handing them over the power to then do other things.
And I agree with you, but it's weird, right? Because over here, you can do things, right? Yeah, Barb. We're gonna need a couple of tow trucks, hon. I'm sorry
better
about
get a
that.
Big Mac.
Yeah, but over here, you can have the best intentions. Like I was the president for what was that thing against Louisville Metro years ago? Because when they signed Jefferson County and Louisville and they merged, I was the president of the organization. They voted me in because the wording was not right when they voted on the ballot. Right? Wait a minute. Let me click. I don't know who everybody. I'm not going to click anything else. I'm going to hit that button every time. Right? I'm not even looking when I'm clicking on. I'm going to stop clicking while I'm talking. But the wording on the ballot was so confusing. No matter how you answered it, you voted for the merger.
Yeah.
And the wording was not approved by the state. And we fought that, but we ran out the time, the limitation, the time of limitation. Or how do you say it? Statute limitations ran out, so we missed it by a week and a half. We could have undone it if we would, because we could have got it back on the ballot. And so everybody had to assume all the taxes. And over here, I don't know if you all realize, okay, so you work, right? You get taxed on what you work, right? You get taxed on what you buy. You get taxed on your gas. You get taxed on your vehicle. You get taxed on your home. You get taxed on your car insurance. You get taxed on your home insurance. You get taxed on your money you save. You get taxed on your inheritance if somebody leaves you money. You get capital gains and tax if you sell your home and make money. So, and that's just 10 taxes that I can name. Oh, you know, and there's probably other taxes too that we can add to it. So, and the old saying is, tax without representation and all that other stuff. Where does it stop? Tax on water runoff, that is correct. Tax on sewers, tax on how much water goes into the sewer, not counting your sewer. Yeah. So, and that's the point. It's just like, and then you see them, they vote themselves for a salary raise. They get free health insurance and all this other stuff. And it's like, we don't need all these politicians, back in the days, they didn't have, health insurance and all these bodyguards. I understand why they do now, but but now they have lobbyists. That's why they're millionaires. Cat is a politician. I work for ibuprofen, right? I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to get banned, but let's just say ABC Company. Hey, you know what? I'm going to put out a new drug next week, and I want you to push it through the FDA. I want to slide you $2.5 million into your foundation. Okay,
Yep.
not a problem. I'll get my constituents to sign off on it with me. I'll write the bill and I'll get them to back it for me. That's
Yep.
how it works, ladies and gentlemen. And it's wrong.
We
And it's
have
sad.
dinners over here where all the hot shots are invited. You pay $5,500 and you can name who you want to sit with. So if I want to put up a petrol station, for example, this is all hypothetical. If I want to put up a petrol station in such and such a place, I'm going to go to this meeting and I'm going to chat up the Minister for Transport. I'll pay $5,500 and find out which, what roads are going to be put in where 3 or 4 years prior to what's going on. So it's so dirty.
Collective, but a lot of the like over here, when some of this stuff has been going on, right? It's come out that a lot of the politicians have got invested interests in these companies. Their husbands, all
Yeah,
their
they do.
shares,
they do because they get kickback. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that you were talking about, where no matter which way you vote, yay or nay, that you're still giving them your vote. There's something that's going through at the moment to do with the Aboriginals and stuff. And it's exactly the same thing. People are thinking they're voting in the right direction, and they're not. They're being coerced and tricked.
Yeah, it's all wording.
This way, they're agreeing. If they're voting the other way, they're agreeing. But people are not understanding the wording to
They're
what
not.
they're being. Yeah.
That's
And
the whole
Thomas,
idea.
Thomas, before you go, I want you to answer this question, Thomas, if you're not already gone. I was on the national show yesterday, right, Kat? You watched it,
Yep.
and they were talking about President Trump redoing his count on his votes and trying to overturn the election. And my question to the host of the show was, what's going to happen if he finds 11,389 votes and he wins the election? What are they going to do? And they just stared at me.
Yep.
They didn't have an answer.
What, he's indicted, yet he's going to be the new president.
Well, now that's never going to happen. Okay, they're probably going to indict him on something. Okay, if not, it's going to be a smokescreen. But will he be president? Absolutely not. I think it's going to be rigged. Okay, that's just me saying that. Okay, because it was rigged the first time. That's me speaking. So much for my that one channel. But I'm just saying. But if they overturn the election, and because they harp on it all the time, and I agree with them. But if they find 11,000, I think it's 839 something votes. Let's just say 12,000 votes. What are they going to do? You can't turn back time. I mean, we got a guy in office allegedly by one of our psychics that it's not the original president. It's allegedly his brother. And we got a guy that's in office that don't know. I don't know if he's got Alzheimer's or dementia. That's evident. I mean, and we want to talk about what's wrong with our country.
Like all it does is just show another area of mistrust, and how do you trust a new vote? Like, what do? You've got a corrupt judicial system that has people locked up for nothing, for sharing the truth. Like, what do we do? There's no judicial system on earth.
Oh, Norma says there won't be any election to the 2020 election. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know how that worked. So I did not know that. So That's interesting, because I wondered about that, because it was weird is how so if you all haven't kept up with it, but Trump is not a politician. Okay. He's a businessman. And that's why a lot of people don't like him, because you cannot buy him. Okay.
Yeah.
Corporations, companies, sorry, you can't buy them. Does he say stuff he shouldn't say? Absolutely, because he's not a politician. And if you make him mad, you're going to find out. He'll tell you like it is, and he says stuff he shouldn't say. I'm sorry, he is a businessman, and he's a multimillionaire, and he's one of the richest guys in the world, and he's used to being that way. And if you don't like Cath, he'll tell you you're fired. And when he got in office, he got rid of a lot of people. I don't like you. You're fired. You didn't do what I said. You're fired. Sorry. And that made a lot of people mad. But a lot of these big oil companies and all these, big corporations are like, what am I going to do? He ain't taking my money. He won't return my calls. He was donating the salary to charity. I don't want what is the government? What is the president make, like $350,000 a year or $275,000, something stupid.
And
but each president is a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
So because of all the donations and charities and what you say, Lola? But yeah.
I'd like to know what Dumpy's up to in Turkey. That's what I'd like to know. And the other thing that you've got put in my brain now with these chips, if you've got a upstairs chip in you already and you get one of our chips, I wonder how they're going to react to each other.
It will be universal, just like the barcode.
No, I mean, if you've got like a chip already in you, and then you get one of ours from Earth-based, it'd be very interesting to see how they communicate with each other.
See, that I don't know.
What makes you think they're different?
Only because the people here are a bit more useless, I think, than the others upstairs.
How do you know they haven't been handed the technology?
Well, true. No idea. No. You wouldn't know what's going on. And, what happens when they disconnect all comms? What then?
I don't know. That's a good question.
There'll be no money, no water, no food, no transport. All the mummies that have their kids in front of an iPad are going to be going totally bonkers. There's going to be more crime, more suicide.
Yeah, Sean, we can't say the C word. We have to call it the
sorry, everybody.
What would we call it when we had to stay indoors, and then we can't say the C word, that
one.
Yeah,
the Great Depression Part 3.
Whatever it was called. We can't say that, but I can't remember what we used to call it now. The pandemic. Yeah, we can say that. When we had the pandemic, we can't say the C word, but that was a good way to get us with implants. I don't know if that was the choice of doing it, but the nanotech. Now, when Anthony Lewis, if you all have not kept up with nanotechnology, with them doing stuff with microchips and implanting in brain cells and on brain cells, that is some freaky stuff. So I have a chip in my left thigh from others up in high in the sky. Yeah, she's got an implant from aliens. Yeah. So does Russ Collette. He's probably fell asleep in his chair. He's gonna be okay. We really aren't known for being chipped. How big part of our lives are our phones. It's just amazing. I don't know. We're not in the right direction, ladies. I know that. And it's going to take a whole lot for us to get together to make things right. And I don't mean to sound down and negative, but the point of no return. I think we're there. Hey, Nicola, welcome to the show. Hopefully we can turn around our ship and put the sails up and sail in the right direction.
Yeah.
I do want that.
Yeah, same here. Like, all you can hope for is that to me, transparency reigns, and we end up with a hotshot team of people that genuinely care about Earth, managing the environment, the water, the air, the junk, all the crap upstairs. That we have people that actually know the fields that they're speaking about. Like, over here, you'll get someone in ag is the Minister of Defence. It's a bad example, but, they know nothing about what they're doing. If we have a team on Earth that is proactive for the good of all, including the animals, the water, the air, and that know what they're just talking about, and, the whole reason for this transparency, is worth it with everything coming out.
But see, the problem is I agree with that concept, and I agree what you're saying. But the mighty problem is the almighty dollar, right? Is how much I'm going to make. How much am I going to make? How much you going to line my pockets? Everybody don't care about the world. That's the problem.
They will when they're hungry, or they can't get on the phone and scroll.
Hey, the politicians didn't care about high gas prices. They were driving around their SUVs. They had the money to pay for that $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon of gas when it was like that years ago.
Well, maybe they can all go and live on.
Citizens will get over it. It'll pass in a few years. So, it was sad, So, it's just, we're just little people, and it's sad. So
the whole thing that we're trying to do is to actually make people give up hope.
Yeah.
They want us to give up hope, and then we're going to agree. It is written. It's written in a document that you will live in where you're told. You won't own your house, and you'll be all this stuff, and it is written that you will be happy about it because they're going to make it so tough. Give up hope that you're going to agree to anything. That is, and I'm not going to say specific names because I don't want to be tagged.
Right. Yeah, amen to that.
But there is the information is there. It's yeah.
But this is repeat cycle. All these things are cycles.
Yeah.
And it's the conjunction now. That's the word I was looking for before. Because there's the conjunction, so there's massive change now energetically. It's come the end of a cycle, and this is them trying to reignite the contracts, all the things that they've been working to, and get them going again, because we have had the freedom of choice, because we were released from our contracts because the time elapsed. And now the beginning of a new cycle, it's up to us whether we recontract or we buy back into all of this stuff. There's no perfect anything, except for what we're choosing to do or not to do, and the way we choose to live our lives and our values. But we don't have to agree with them. Yes, there are things that don't appear like they're going to go back, but this is also part of a process. There are things that I do realize, and I've seen for myself, that sometimes there are events that happen, and they happen for a particular reason. We can't make rhyme or reason as to why. And we just think, well, it should never have happened, but it has an effect into the future. And it's nigh on impossible for us as humans to work it out in such a way that we can see the process, because it's the game the universe plays. We just can't see that far. We can't see the intricacies that are involved in it, which is why it makes it so important for everybody to just see for themselves, come back to their values, recognize what they agree and don't agree with, you know, put some effort into recognizing, you know, what is going on, what am I agreeing to, what am I not agreeing to. Envision what it is that you want for the future, that you want your future to be, your kids' future, your grandkids' future. You know, so even if you're not out there doing something actively in the courts or out in the field or whatever, it's what we're choosing to think, to be, to do on a daily basis. And that's really, really important to create a change and support the positive change that others in this world are trying to help us create, to move away from all that other stuff.
Yeah,
And
I totally agree.
Keeping your vibration as high as you can, absolutely. Really, really important. Really important.
Very important. Also being adaptable. As adaptable as you can be. You're breaking up.
Sorry, what did you say,
Lola? Huh?
What'd you say?
Maybe we've got a visitor.
Yes.
She's being zapped. Yeah, she's being zapped.
We got a mouse in the house.
What is that?
I have no idea. Is that you, Grizzy?
Watch. I'll mute her. See? It's her in.
Is it
I
Lola?
know. What is that?
She's being monitored by G-Man.
Yep. Oh, well, that's
in your tummy.
That sounds AI, like, big time. Yep. Cath, I was just saying, yes, keep your vibration high. Don't lose your faith. Don't lose your hope, and be adaptable. You need to be adaptable.
And on that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the show. From coast to coast, around the world, that's a wrap.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.